Hi, this video lecture 16.1 on the Pacific Theater of World War II. What you have here is a global picture of what we refer to as the Pacific Rim. These nations from Japan through China all the way down into Southeast Asia, we refer to this as the Pacific Rim. You also have Hawaii right out here. In the 1930s, under Japan's military government, Japan decided that they were going to expand their territory. The biggest reason is because Japan is a small island nation and needs massive natural resources. And so, in 1937, historians believe that this, or refer to this as the start of the Sino-Japanese War. It's really how they begin to get involved in World War II. And as I mentioned, it is to acquire all of these natural resources. And so Japan sets out to establish the Greater East Asia Prosperity Sphere. It's going to be a block of nations. They're going to be controlled by Japan in this Southeast Asia region. Before the war starts, we have Japan up here in the red, and we know Japan desires these natural resources in this Pacific Rim area. 1931-32, Japan invades Manchuria. And then in 1937, they began to invade China. And a lot of you have heard of the rape of Nanking, where the Japanese soldiers come in and destroy the city of Nanking. And in the process, they kill over 300,000 Chinese civilians. This slide refers to the ABCD encirclement, and Japan knew in order to conquer this Southeast Asia, this Pacific Rim, they had the A stands for America, the D stands for Dutch, the B stands for British, and the C stands for China. Those countries were really standing in their way of Japan having complete control of this Southeast Asia, this Pacific Ring area, and so they knew they needed to eliminate that. Because of their aggression in China, the United States, because of their invasion of China, the United States begins to set up what are called embargoes, oil embargoes. Basically, they're going to restrict the amount of oil that goes into Japan. Again, because Japan's an island nation, they need natural resources, and the United States supplied them with oil. So as Japan begins to expand, the United States begins to place these oil embargoes on the country of Japan. So we have 1941, and we know what happens in 1941. We have over here the invasion, or the attack at Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941. The Fleet Admiral Yamamoto, this is what he had to say about the United States. The U.S. fleet is a dagger point at the throat and must be destroyed. See, it was the United States alone, really, that was standing in the way of this Japanese aggression and their expansion throughout this Pacific Rim. And so we have this attack at Pearl Harbor on December 1st, 1941. This is sort of a aerial view of most of our battleships that were stationed in Pearl Harbor. We have several depictions of the planes, the Zeros and the dive bombers that the Japanese used. And we have some pictures of the devastation that took place as a result of this attack on Pearl Harbor. Yet another view, aerial view. And so because of this, the United States, with the congressional approval of Roosevelt's address to declare war on Japan. The United States declares war on Japan. Propaganda posters began to be produced. Avenge Pearl Harbor was sort of the battle cry of the day. But because the United States declared war on Japan, and because Japan had an alliance with Germany and Italy, 2 days later, after we declared war on Japan, the Axis powers of Germany and Italy declared war on the United States, and that was the United States' official entry into World War I. Tomorrow in class, we're going to take a closer look at Pearl Harbor and the events that took place on that day.